everyone. Welcome to my little corner of the internet. My name is Megan, and today I will be walking through the business model of print on demand. A little bit of information about me, a little bit of backstory. End of 2022, I was sitting on my couch watching Bravo, like many of us do, thinking, man, I want the glamour, I want a side hustle, I want to build an empire. And I happened upon this business model called print on demand. Fully every intention that I would maybe make, if I was lucky, $100 a month, some coffee money, some gas money, have this cool little side project that could be just like a creative outlet and be fun. And fast forward through that year, I closed 2023 with over $140,000 of sales revenue, all without owning any inventory, basically zero startup cost, all working from home. And I've had people ask, like, how did you do this? Kind of what is the process? I've been interested in starting my own business for a while. And so I thought I would start this channel to just kind of like share my learnings, my knowledge, my kind of process with it, as well as kind of like myth bust some stuff that I've seen on the internet, just like having done it. And so today, I'm excited to welcome you here. And if it's interesting to you to hang on and kind of learn more, I'll be posting more video content, so subscribe. But I will start by just walking through the print on demand business model. Let's get started. So what is print on demand? Taking a step back, it's a lot of e-commerce, right? So if you Google right now, funny cat gymnastics t-shirt, you're gonna see a bunch of different shirts that pop up, whether that be from Walmart, people that are selling on their own website, people that are selling on Etsy, all different types of places. And so print on demand allows us to basically create very niche products or very broad products without actually owning the inventory. A lot of the products that you see online, they're going to be large companies like Walmart or Target, where they own all of this inventory. They ship it to their store, you buy it online, it's all bought through them, so on and so forth. This business model is different, where us can create a design, whether that be something super niche like gymnastics cat t-shirt or something more broad like funny t-shirt. We can create a design utilizing any type of design software like Canva or other things that you may have in your own arsenal. So we can create those designs, and we can then work with a manufacturing partner, whether that be in the United States or outside of the United States. We can work with a manufacturing partner that they own all of these blank products. So they just have blank white t-shirts, cups, mugs, candles, all these different types of things that you can work with them to put your design on. There's no minimum orders. So it's a great process to be able to say, we are going to put our designs on somebody else's own physical inventory, and we're going to sell those products. So you make the design, you find a manufacturing partner. Some of the most popular ones are going to be websites like Printify that actually work with these companies, these manufacturers, and these printers all over the United States. Or you can find a direct manufacturer more similar to Printed Mint, which I'll go into in a future video. And you're gonna find these manufacturers are gonna upload your designs that you crafted by yourself onto these websites. You're gonna find the right product that you want to work with. If you are selling, if you choose for your niche to be volleyball cat pieces, you can choose t-shirts, hoodies, sweatshirts, shoes. There's a plethora of options in the catalog. You're going to design that product, list that product to make sure that like you feel comfortable with how that listing is showing up in terms of sizing and design. And then we're going to choose where we want our product to be sold. As of now, we've just designed something. We've said, hey, I have a design, I put it on a product, this is how it kind of looks in a mock-up scenario. Now we have to decide, where do we want to sell? One of the most popular places that we sell, and where I personally have found my own success, was Etsy. Etsy is a website that exists for artisanal, like homemade, small, medium-sized businesses to basically make one-off goods. It's not meant for people that are mass producing 1,000 different products. You just go on there and buy it. It's meant for people that are hand making, or there is a design element involved in these products. So Etsy is a really great option, but there's also the option of just making a website via Shopify and listing all of your products on your own website. So if you're somebody and let's say you're a musical artist and you're like, I've been dying to launch merch for the last 5 years or the last year, and I have some really cool designs. Maybe you're working with a designer, maybe you are really creative on Photoshop, or you have a Canva account and you want to just like whip some stuff out. You can absolutely just create a website and link that manufacturing partner to your website and direct people and say, hey, I just launched merch. If you want to support my creative career, come to my website and buy my products. So that's step 3. We have designed something, we have found our manufacturing partner and product, and we have chosen where we want to sell. Bing, boom, bang. The 4th part is just listing those products. So once you choose who that manufacturing partner is and you choose where you want to sell, again, I would recommend Etsy. I'll do a whole, several segments on that, and Shopify. I'll do a whole thing. You can then link the two, so that way your manufacturer knows that when a sale comes in from your platform, the two are linked and they're going to talk to each other. So then from there, a sale comes in, somebody's on the website, they're on Etsy and they're typing in, let's go with the cat example again. They're typing in cat volleyball t-shirt. You've listed yours, it's popping up. They, as a customer, will see that listing and they'll go, oh great, I want to buy that. They'll add it to cart and they'll purchase that product. You as the maker of this design, you don't own a printer. You don't own these blank t-shirts. You've just designed that product and now it's in the hands of your manufacturing partner to get this product to this customer. So the customer comes in, they buy the product, the manufacturer gets a notification, and they start working to get this t-shirt out to your customer. The way that works from a financial perspective, and how I mentioned there are no startup costs necessarily, is let's say it cost that manufacturer $20 to produce this custom cat t-shirt. You're going to list that for more than $20. We can go into a whole spiel and discussion about how that pricing works and the research that's involved, but let's just say you list that t-shirt for $40 then. The moment that customer buys your t-shirt, you are going to get $40 and then you're going to pay the manufacturer $20. So you just made $20 profit. So that's kind of how that model works. It's like an arbitrage where there's money coming in, money flowing out, and as long as there's more money flowing in than money flowing out, you just made a sale. So from there, the sale has been made. The manufacturer prints it, they ship it, they mark it as shipped on the platform that you're selling on, and you rinse and repeat this cycle. So now that you know how the process works, I would love to just highlight some pros and some cons for this business model. I think a couple are going to be pretty straightforward, but I'll run through them anyways. So pros. The biggest pro is there is no startup cost, or very little startup cost. This was a very attractive business model to me because I was sitting on my couch thinking, hey, I'm not willing to risk thousands of dollars, or even at this point, hundreds of dollars on this business venture that could fail and that I know nothing about. But I was willing to say, hey, I'm going to invest my time and I'm going to potentially invest in some design software. Again, I think Canva is $12.99 a month. It's very minimal. So literally for the cost of a couple coffees, you can get started on just creating some designs. So very little startup costs. And if you end up, let's say you go the Etsy route, there are going to be some listing fees, but we're talking in the per listing per product in the realm of cents. So it's very minimal, very low barrier to entry. And if you did decide to go the other route where you are a content creator, or you are an artist, or you are a mom who wants to run t-shirts for their PTA group or their kids' bake sale, whatever it may be, you can also just run an actual website as well. But sometimes there's more monthly fees that go into that. But still, these are just setup costs for anything else. It's not like you're saying, I'm going to buy this warehouse and all these different types of things. So that's the biggest, very minimal startup cost and very low barrier to entry. And that's kind of part 1.5 is that continues. It's low cost throughout the process. You don't have to buy that inventory, so you're never owning, you're never sitting on inventory. All these other businesses that are like trying to sell products, they're having to like ship in a crap ton of product from other countries where it's manufactured for cheaper, or even in the United States, you're having to own that product and then ship it from there. So you don't have to do any of that, which is really great. So you don't have to be hands-on with the shipping and all of that process. So that's fantastic. So low barrier to entry, low continuous costs and time associated with all of that. The other benefit is I think it's pretty scalable. As I just mentioned, like you don't have to focus on like, okay, I just bought all this inventory and I have to wait until I sell it before I could potentially pivot and move on to something new. Or same thing, like if you have your fingers on the pulse of culture and you're like, hey, there's this really exciting thing out that's like, I remember when like Nepo Baby was really big, or like what is it now? Like Mob Wife is really big. Like if you know that these trends and you can spot them and you're like good at that and you're hype about that, it's scalable because you can literally list something or get a product up, and if it doesn't sell, it doesn't sell, and you can pivot and move on. So there's a lot of flexibility in the business model, as well as the time that you spend there. I have a full-time job. There's no way that I would have been able to say, hey, I'm dedicating time during 9 to 5 or else I would get fired. There's no way I could have spent time doing that. So this is flexible. I would come home, answer messages, deal with any type of order changes I needed to make, all within an hour of being home. And from wherever you wanted. I was on vacation and I was able to like still make money and be like, great, this is like potentially helping pay for my vacation. So the flexibility and the freedom to do it when you want for as many hours as you want and where you want is huge. So those are some really great pros. And before jumping into the cons, like this is a business model that I fully recommend people that are any interest whatsoever in business and kind of starting your own thing. Okay, so now getting into the cons. I am a media consumer. I watch YouTube videos. I look at different like Reddit threads of what's popular. I like to understand what I'm doing before I do it. So I've watched a lot of content. There are a few things that I've heard on the internet where I'm like maybe that's not accurate, or like it wasn't accurate to my experience. So I'll jump into that. I would say number one is people are like, this is the most passive income stream ever. And I think, pause, record scratch, how did we get here? I don't think that's necessarily the truth. And the reason I think that is for a few reasons. The first reason being like research. Like you can absolutely, like if you're just like, hey, I want to do this venture and I want to like list a bunch of things and like just see what the process is like. Absolutely, you can literally get started in one single day, like whatever it is. Or if you're like that other example where you're an artist or you're a content creator already and you already have some designs ready, like you can totally get things up and running like within a day. What I will say is like it's passive, but there's research that has to be done. Like if you type in t-shirt, there's going to be like millions of different things out there. So how do you stand out and actually like get sales is the tough part. So a lot of that comes from like a research stage of being able to say like, do I have something that is unique to me where I'm a nurse and I'm constantly seeing all these fun nurse t-shirts or hats or sweatshirts and stuff, and I have great ideas on how you can take these and like do it designs by a nurse for nurses and like really add this fun spin on it. Do you have like your own niche? Are you just super into fishing, like that you can have like this point of view and perspective of like completely transforming some fun different product for fishermen? Crypto, like are you into that? Like what type of potential area could things work, and does it make sense to have products in the area? You might not want to be doing like crypto related oven mitts, for example, if there's not that much demand. So there is a research stage that it adds work to that process. So there's some time involved at the beginning potentially, and then as you move through, it's the same thing. Like if you're getting sales, I was pretty fortunate where I went the path on Etsy where I invested in Etsy ads, which we can obviously talk about later. And so I didn't do a lot of like organic or posting a bunch. Like I've never spoken to a single person at Printify / my manufacturing partners and nor customers, nor have I posted that much on social media, and I went a different route. But I know other shops that they have an audience already that they are posting content for and creating like fun things to get people interested in their product to generate traffic. So you need to be able to generate some sort of traffic and eyeballs on your products to make sure that people are seeing them. That could be on Etsy, that's a little bit easier because it's already a marketplace and people are typing in like gifts for him, gifts for her, like that's already a destination, the traffic is there. But if you did want to do your own website, there's more, it's not as passive because you have to generate that traffic. So there's a little bit of work involved in the middle period, as well as like if something's working, like do the research to double down on like how can you expand this, or what are new trends that you can keep tabs on. And then the third part that makes it not very passive, or it is passive but less passive, is once the product is shipped, which again, you're not going to the post office, you're not packaging, you're not doing all that hoopla, but there could still be things from a customer service element that you're having to tap into. So like, let's say your product arrives damaged or arrives never, or the wrong product gets sent, or something happens, that message does go to you and it's on you as a shop owner or a business owner to sort that out. I will say I was deathly afraid of this. I cannot say that enough. I was like, this is almost why I didn't start a business. Like I was like, I don't want to deal with problems. Like that makes me nervous. Like I don't know. But I have so much more faith in the US Postal Service after this venture because really it's not that often. Like it's not that common that I had to like deal with those types of issues. Typically maybe like 1 to 2 a week, and in like peak season I was maybe getting a handful every couple of weeks, but it doesn't happen as often as I think maybe I was led on to believe, or just, thought could potentially be the thing. The other thing is like you likely aren't doing like multi-$100 products. If you are, let me know, like let's talk. But it's typically products that are somewhere under the $50 range, or definitely under 75. And so people are pretty reasonable from a customer service element of being able to like pivot and be kind for most things. You always run into people that maybe from a customer service element isn't great, but it's really not that bad. So, but it's not like passive. It's not like, hey, you set it up and you collect your check. Kind of, but not really. So that's kind of like the passive piece of it. The second con, which I don't think is necessarily a con, but it's just more of like, I think people are like, oh, I made all this money and like, this is so easy. Your margins, meaning the profit that you make per product, are not as fat as if you were like selling something else, like selling at like a yard sale, or not a yard sale, but like a farmer's market, and you're going there and you're, able to add the curated element. If you go on again right now, you're going to go online, you're going to see like a ton of different products that are probably similar to the one that you're selling. You have to find a way to like stand out, and that could be on the price that you offer. It could be slightly different, whether that be design wise or whatever, but there are lots of options out there, and you're also not having to like print anything or buy the product or do any of those types of things. So inherently your margin is going to be less. If you think about like going to a store, I'm constantly buying things and being like, oh my God, why did this cost me like $30? Like I'm sure you can buy it for $5 or whatever. And that's true because they have to produce the product, they have to ship the product, they have to pay HR to pay the people that did those things and then market the product and do all those things. What's beneficial here is you're sitting on your laptop and you're beep booping until somebody makes a sale, which is great. So your margin's just not going to be as chunky. My assumption, and what I'm able to find throughout this time, is that shoot for a 20 to 30% profit margin. So those are probably the two cons of like, it's not as passive as everybody thinks. And it's not as easy as just be like, oh, I made all this money. So all of that being said, I'm very excited to start this journey, and thank you for listening along. If you are interested at all in my content, please subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one.